This is Jess with Local Music Somewhere, and you're listening to rBeatz Radio.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, you are tuning into Local Music Somewhere on this fine Friday, August the 25th. And today I am so excited because it's not every day we get to talk about an entire full album that has just released. Terry Hudson is joining me today. He's an artist manager expert, and we are going to be talking about EKLY's latest release, a full album, Charlotte-based musician, writes everything, records everything, is gigging, and is only how old, EKLY?
17. Wow.
17. I can't even believe it. So here's what I want to talk about. First of all, I did listen, all right? And we've talked about your music before, okay? About the moods, about the background vocals and all these things, and we're going to get into all of that. But what I want to do is just give you the floor here for a second and just kind of tell us, this album, this project, what's it about? What do you want people to know? What's the deal here?
I was trying to, with this one, I was doing something a little bit different with just new sounds and everything, and stuff that's going on. Talking about new things because different things have popped up in my life where I've had a couple changes that, like, inspired some new influences, with different things that I'm talking about in the different songs and stuff.
I took notes too, because I can tell you're going through lots of different sounds and changes and things like that. You would think, it kicks off with your hip hop, pop stuff that you've got going on. But then when you hit that track called Run for the Hills, it's a piano ballad. Okay. Yeah. And then, when you get to Pinot Grigio, it's like got this dance thing going on. Yeah. Thrill has the guitar with the rock stuff. And then there's Drug with this whole acoustic feel. Yeah. So I want to talk about how you built this or how you chose these songs. Cause you are, the engineer, you do record a lot of this, but I heard acoustic drums in there. I heard real playing. Just tell me more about how you built this whole thing. How did you approach it?
Well, it's funny with Run for the Hills. I was actually at my girlfriend's house, and her sisters have a piano, and I was messing with the piano, and I was just messing with them. And we actually just started playing on the keys and stuff. And so that's how that was created. And we were just kind of having fun with it. And they were like, well, are you going to put that in a song? Because they were just kind of messing with me. And I was like, sure, just messing around with it. And, kind of turned into something new. So that's what, that's what that was. Yeah. So that's what inspired that one.
I love that. So can you tell me more about, I know I'll jump around a bit, but the track Thrill, I'm hearing full-on drums and guitars in there. Tell me about that track a little bit.
That was made a minute ago, so that kind of comes with the inspirations of Guns N' Roses and stuff like that, just the different rock themes type of stuff. So I made that song a minute ago, actually. So I had no idea what I was going to do with that. But I remember me and my cousin, Bennett Summer, we were going to do a music video for that, and then it just kind of didn't work out because he kind of left and we just didn't have enough time to actually form that music video. And so that never really happened, but it was going to be really dope, but it just never worked out. But, so I just did a lot of stuff with guitar and then the drums. And I feel it was a shorter song, but I kind of just was kind of going for more like a ballad type rock, 90s, 80s type thing.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. I wanted to talk to you also about, so when you're saying the guitar, now did you play through some of that? And with the drums, did you use MIDI or did you record somebody with that? How did that work?
So I got electric drums downstairs, all the way downstairs in my house. And then with the guitar, I actually don't have a plug-in yet. So I just have it on the EKLY Mini Pro. So it's just on the keys. So that's what I did with different power chords and stuff. So that's what I did with the guitar.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but that's that song. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but that's one of those songs when you're doing your live concert that you can do something even totally different with it. Bring out the rock element more or lengthen it and add things to it. It's that perfect song for that.
Yeah. I'd love to see more of your process too. I don't know if you've ever thought about maybe setting up a camera to film, because it's cool the way you tell me how you piece all this together. Yeah, and I also noticed lyrically, You know, you said you were at your girlfriend's house doing the piano ballad, right? I'm noticing some themes of love through this album. Okay. You know, I'm noticing, you know, we also have this moodiness that is specific to your writing style, which I told you I started really hearing recently when we've been discussing your work. And even when you change through genres, you're still feeling that moodiness and that emotion through there, which I think is like obviously a super special thing with the layering and the vocals in the background. So when you think about this album, you know, I know every song's different, but did you kind of have like an overall cohesive thought for it being an album, like a full project, like what it's meant to say or about you right now, anything like that?
Yeah, so it was called Everything and More, just kind of like to wrap around everything that's going on right now, just everything and more. But I guess a lot is going on, kind of just like kind of like love-ish type stuff, but like not really. And then the more was just kind of other stuff that surrounds that, but not. It was kind of a mix of like, I guess like what you were saying, like the love was like right in the middle and that moody type of stuff. And then the more was like everything around that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like a Venn diagram, just like kind of everything around that.
So what would be in the Venn diagram if you're talking about those emotions and these offshoots? Right. Like, what are we thinking?
So like we got the different moods. We got, I guess, I kind of took like a more cinematic look with some of the instruments and the type stuff. So I did some orchestral stuff. We got moodiness and stuff. We got, I guess, you know, so I was talking about some type of love stuff and stuff that was going on with, you know, just like recent events. Just like the past couple of days that I like, just short little lyrics that I put in there, like foot on the dash or whatever, you know, like just like short little things to kind of like fill that spot in, you know, just like to give it more of like a feeling to the listener.
Mm-hmm. More feeling, more imagery.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, I love that. So when it comes to these tracks, do you feel like you had one that was just like effortless and instant that came to you like a favorite, or was there a track you had to kind of wrestle with to get it to work? You know, tell me more about that.
My favorite probably would be Claire de Lune. I love Claire, and that wasn't even going to be the original name. It was actually going to be what was it? Midnight or Moonlight Coitus, but like, and then that was gonna be the original name, and then I don't know, I feel like that was a little bit too much, you know what I'm saying? But like, so I changed it to Claire de Lune, but so that I feel like that was really dope. I didn't feel the exact full vibration of that song until listening to it like for the 5th time, and what people were saying about it was like really cool too, but like just the start off, like before I even like actually had the full lyrics for that song, I remember me and my friend Zion, we were actually in my room and we were creating that song together. So like we got an inspiration from a Tory Lanez song with the snares in the beginning, that one like, you know what I'm saying, in the very beginning. And we were like, that would be super dope. And we were going through the list of different presets of the different snares that would create a nice sound for that. And we were like, oh yeah, that one's it for sure. And so just that, before the lyrics and stuff and actually laying that down, we were just like, oh yeah, that's going to be dope. Like this song's going to be super dope. So the song was crazy.
That's the best, when songs just kind of unfold like that for you. And it doesn't always happen that way, you know? It's sometimes you got to wrestle with that stuff to get it to be what you want it to be.
Yeah.
Is that your first single push?
For like, what do you mean? Just
your first release?
Yeah. For that one, I was just pushing that out for sure. I'm definitely pushing that out further than any other song. And Midnight Attention.
So that means you're going to do a video?
Hopefully.
You've done a video for all these songs.
Yeah, it was like a visualizer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm ready to see videos. I know it didn't work out with the one buddy you were talking about, but I'm sure you guys have something cooking.
Yeah, hopefully.
So, okay, now we also had kind of this dance vibe going on in Pinot Grigio. Now, is it Pinto Grigio? Pinot Grigio.
Pinot Grigio.
You got a T in there.
Yeah.
All right, so tell me about what brought that on, a little extra dance era there.
I think I got inspiration from, I met some new people, and I've got a lot of new songs that I've been shown. So I got some inspiration from those, and just I met this one girl, And then she kind of showed me this type of music that she listens to, and it's like super dope music. And I was like, I really like this type of stuff. So she kind of listens to that more type of vibe, you know, some songs that she listens to. And it's kind of just like where this constant bass, like a kick, you know, and then the snare every other, you know. So that's what I tried to do, and then it kind of worked out with that. And I thought it was really cool, and it had a nice flow to it. So I just kind of took it off with that, you know. So I thought it would be a new thing to start.
Yeah, all your experiments are going really well. Like I said, I always am so interested to hear what you're doing and where you're going. You know, when you're writing and conceptualizing the sounds and all of that, I know you think about your audience, but like how much do you think about your audience when you're writing versus like just for you? You know what I mean when I say that?
Yeah, for sure. So sometimes in the beginning I forget, you know, because mostly in the beginning I'm just creating it for me. You know, as like I said this before, as like a way to just talk and like just get out, and because everybody's got a certain type of way to, you know, stress relieve. You know, some people just write it down. Some people go to talk to a counselor and stuff. Then I do music. You know, everybody's got, maybe you do a sport or whatever, but you know, I do music to like, you know, stress relief. Sometimes I get up in the middle of the night and just start doing stuff. But yeah. So what was the question again? I forgot.
It was just how much you think about others.
So
you want to take a risk, right?
Like
you want to take a musical risk or whatever. Like, how concerned are you about what they're going to think about that? I guess,
to be honest, I remember creating my first song. It was called Demons, and that was a long time ago. That was probably like 8th grade, and I didn't, honestly, just putting that out was really easy. I don't know why. It was just like, I just kind of pushed it out on SoundCloud because that was before I got on Apple Music or Spotify. And it was like, I had no issue doing that. And normally, you know, you always get different types of feedback with any type of thing you do. So, I mean, mostly the feedback's been good. And I feel like I've advanced from the beginning to now, you know, obviously, because it's been a couple of years in what I've been doing. But yeah, so I don't really think about anybody who's listening at first. I just kind of create it for me, and then whatever happens with them liking it or the feedback that I'll get is what happens. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll
identify with it.
Right.
Yeah, you'll get, you know, and that's the thing. If most of your feedback is generally good, you're going to always have some people, especially at your age right now, that maybe don't want to give you that support and would say something irrelevant. You know, like I'm sure you've experienced that. I had to do the same thing because at my time it was MySpace. So you're talking about a lot of anonymous whatever. And I mean, it could just be from any person that doesn't know anything, right? But that's good. Yeah, you're probably getting a lot of great feedback. I mean, when I listen to this, I like I said, you take somebody on a ride with the textures that you're using. You're talking about all these different pads and the layerings, but it's also the notes that you choose to use. And so I really, encourage our listeners to definitely check out EKLY's Everything and More, a full album. It's a 13-track song. Terry, what do you suggest, the next steps? We know that EKLY's got to be gigging and he's going to be pushing this album. Right. What's the next steps here as far as your expertise goes?
For somebody so young, not only has he grown in his music, he talks about the evolution of his music, but at the same time, he's grown in his understanding of technology. And he's already promoting in ways that I don't see any artist, his age really promoting. Like, I'm sure they're there, but when he's promoting on social media, he's paying attention to what other social media accounts are doing in the same way that he's paying attention to musical influences. And he's we're talking about his project. He's also kind of picturing what he would do in video. Like he doesn't just write, when he's talking about writing cinematically, he doesn't just write like it's a movie soundtrack. It seems that he pictures what the visual, of this would look like, which will transfer well into his live performance. But I've already talked to him about some of the things that he should look at and companies that he should investigate, like Songfluencer, because he's on TikTok quite a bit, and he's very good at using that. In fact, I think he could give some of us a class, and how things work there. But he thinks, how can we promote this different? Even in this podcast right here, he had ideas of how we should, do things, even him coming on as a guest, that will affect, how people see this. And he's thinking that at that age. But Another thing is letting people know the stories of the songs as you're putting them out. It's kind of like you're interviewing him here, but he has these great song titles that are not common.
Right.
And so having those song titles like that, and then when you listen to the lyrics, and like you said, the layering of the sounds, how did that come about? What were the influences of it? And, getting that word out so that people become fans of those songs one at a time as he's building, the story of the project. Right. And what is the story of EKLY? Because people care about the story.
To me, the story is like he's absolutely on fire. Yes. He's going to exponentially grow as an artist. Every time I hear a new project, it's just more and more, everything and more. Not to be a pun, but you're on fire, and I'm so excited, to have you on, the local music somewhere rBeatz circuit with us.
I appreciate that.
And so growing into, not to interrupt you again, sorry, but growing into what he's doing technology-wise as AI is coming along here, a lot of people are concentrating, as I've said before, on AI and how it affects the art itself, but it's going to greatly affect how discovery tools, happen and how people are finding the music and the marketing metrics that go with that he'll be very good at looking at. So he's coming along with this, it seems like, at the right time.
Yeah, fantastic. So as far as this whole album goes, EKLY, let's tell our listeners anything else that you want them to know as far as this specific project, where it's going to be, where you can find it, what it's all about.
Yeah, so you can find it in any platform: Apple Music, Amazon Music, Spotify, any big thing, Audio Mac, anything that you use. So it's just going to be out there. I'm really trying to push this one further than anything else that I've released. That's why I've met the right people. I got really great people that I'm talking to in the room right now. And so that was the whole idea for making something that was a little bit stronger than what I've released before. So that was, trying to get it out there is number one for me right now.
Definitely a strong project. You guys definitely check it out. Make sure you definitely check it out and stay tuned. Follow EKLY on all his socials. Everything will be linked in description. Terry, you have anything closing for us today here?
Let's see. I get so enthralled in what he's doing, and when I listen to him, it's not like when I've done interviews with other artists or been a guest with the other artists. I pay so much attention to his art. Just him as he is a true artist. He's not just somebody trying to make it in the music business. He's creating art first, and if I say stay true to that, absolutely. And of course, he's getting good at the discovery tools, but just stay true to being that artist and growing with that, despite what life throws at you.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for your time here on Local Music Somewhere. I'm Jess with rBeatz. EKLY, thank you so much.
Yeah, I appreciate
Terry,
you.
thank you. Sure. Yeah. All right. We'll catch you guys next time.
Thank you.
Thanks as always for tuning into rBeatz Radio. Search for more local music somewhere on rbeatz.com and follow our social media for highlighted artists as we travel with #LocalMusicSomewhere.